check out the whole show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We move on. 6 p.m. Eastern, little ACC action. Wake Forest Deacons 3-0, 0-0 in the AC at Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 5-3, 1-1 in the AC. We're at McCamish Pavilion in Atlanta, Georgia. We have Georgia Tech as 9.5-point favorites over FanDuel. This total at 139.5. And Max, when you picked this game, I just found this so difficult unless you have more information than I was able to kind of get, and it's just a fade of Wake Forest. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. Wake opened their season with back-to-back easy wins over weak competition, Delaware State, Longwood. Then they needed to take an entire month off due to positive COVID issues in the program. So they came back on December 31st for a glorified exhibition game. I thought it was against Div 2 Catawba Indians. Their second and third leading scorers, guard Ian Dubose out indefinitely, forward Tariq Ingraham done for the season. And those are both COVID related. They have a whole bunch of questionable players who didn't play against the Div 2 squad, Catawba. Quadri Adams. So these are the guards: Quadri Adams, Jonah Antonio, Anthony Mathis, Miles Lester. Now, these aren't key players necessarily, but there's a bunch of them. Forwards Grant Van Beveren and center Emmanuel Okpomo. Georgia Tech has won 3 straight, coming off a 72-67 win at home over North Carolina's 3.5-point dogs. Tech is led by 6'9" senior Moses Wright, who's averaging 18.1 points and 7.3 boards. Also, we have senior guard Brooklyn native Jose Alvarado. After scoring a career-high 29 against Delaware State, he was excellent against North Carolina. 20 points, 7 assists, 7 boards. I mean, he's balling out right now. Max, very interesting spot here that you are attacking. Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, 6 p.m. Eastern ACC action. Take it away.
Listen, Jim, I'm going to tell you right there, settle down with that Jose Alvarado talk. All right? Let me give you a little trip down memory lane. I was watching the Georgia Tech versus North Carolina game. It was a real nice cold winter night, and I had an over ticket, and I needed free throws just to be right. And Jose Alvarado, he stepped up, he shot the ball, and he missed it. So bottom line was he missed a bunch of free throws. He's a dick. He cost me money. Him and him alone. I hope that he slurps cock soup.
Sure.
And that no ladies of the night come to see him.
Sure.
So getting into the game, though, I think that this is – hold on. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I think that this is a very interesting spot for Georgia Tech. When we look at Georgia Tech, what have they not done well? Well, they haven't performed as a favorite, that's for sure. They've lost twice outright, but that was early on in the season. Now they're into ACC play. They have aspirations of sneaking up on the likes of Florida State and Virginia and possibly Duke to win this thing. And they got the roster to do it. They got the complementary scoring. They got the game breakers. There's a lot to like about this Georgia Tech team. The one knock that I have on them is lack of depth. When you have to bring Bubba Parham off the bench, that's your only really capable, competent, and frankly trustworthy bench scorer. When I look at Georgia Tech and I watch their games, and of course I watch a ton of basketball, I see Georgia Tech and I'm like, why did you take that shot? Why didn't you make a couple extra passes? You got 12 seconds. Work the clock. I do think that this is a game where you're going to be able to have more advantages and more opportunity to move the ball around and get those better looks. I think that one critical aspect of this game, which should play into their hand with what's going on personnel-wise with Wake Forest, is they need a better start. So I think that you know where I'm going to start to really look towards when it comes to betting this game. When I think about this Georgia Tech team and when I look at my numbers from this Georgia Tech team, they need to get Moses Wright lots of looks early, get him involved in the offense, and then let it open up looks for Michael DeVoe and, of course, Bubba Parham on the perimeter. When I look at Georgia Tech, naturally or not naturally, so far this year, they've been more of a second-half bet-on team. In this situation, though, you just mentioned Jonah Antonio and Ian DeBose. That's 27 points per game already out of your lineup. That puts a lot of pressure on guys like our fellow Canadian Jacoby Neath, Davion Williamson, and Jalen Johnson. I don't think that they can go bucket for bucket, or they can limit Georgia Tech from doing what they want offensively. I think that with Georgia Tech, they have to have good ball distribution. They have to get to the free throw line and make them, which on average they're making 15 makes a game. The problem is they need to make them when it matters, which is the last 5 minutes of the second half. And that's where Alvarado let me down and basically tattooed "you're an idiot" on my shoulder. I think that with Georgia Tech, this is a game where you could be worried about a letdown spot. However, with Wake Forest's time off, missing personnel, new system that Coach Forbes is working these guys in, and not having any quality competition, it's got to be Georgia Tech in this spot, and it's got to be the under. I think that this game is slowed down. I think that we're seeing this game with one team in the 70s and one team maybe in the 60s being Wake Forest. And I think that Georgia Tech has to show me early that they can take care of business. Otherwise, they're a second-half bet-on team.
Very, very interesting game here. We can get you 140.5 over at Circa. It's 139.5 at FanDuel. So let's start there. Under 140.5 at minus 110 at Circa. And then we'll get you full game minus 9.5 on Georgia Tech. They're both – oh, excuse me. You're getting minus 104 at FanDuel. That's nice. That's nice juice. So we'll give you that. Is this a first-half play as well?
Yes, this is going to be a first-half play. The issue is the line is already ballooned up. And I do have a limit of 6.5 for this first half play.
All right. First half limit minus 6.5. Of all those guys that I mentioned that were missing in action and are questionable with COVID issues, do you know if those 6 guys are going to be in the lineup, not going to be in the lineup? Do you have any? I was trying hard to get that information. I couldn't.
I haven't been able to find that information, Jim, but I capped the game assuming, even though that makes an ass out of you and me, that Jonah Antonio and DeBose won't play. If they do play, I still don't think that there's enough on-court continuity and chemistry to go up against what I deem to be one of the top 3 or 4 best teams in the ACC, albeit in a down year.
I agree. And from all I've heard, DeBose's out for sure. It's Jonah Antonio and those guys that I wasn't sure about.
Everybody else that you named is non-impactful, especially when it comes to my player projections. Of the people you named, I only projected stats for Jonah Antonio and DeBose, so you're fine.
I feel you. All right, that's 6 p.m. Eastern. Wake Forest, Deacons, Georgia Tech, Yellow Jackets. It does feel like a double-digit victory for Georgia Tech at home in Atlanta, Georgia, and I feel like that's going to be a spot that I will be tailing you on.